Buying a home takes years of saving and a massive mortgage. It is the heaviest financial commitment most of us ever take on. And when you step into the market, you are met with endless options, high-rises and towering concrete blocks. But instead of straightforward pricing, builders throw a maze of terms at you: carpet area, built-up area, and super built-up area. Misunderstanding these three phrases carries a steep penalty. You can easily spend millions on square footage that you can never actually set foot on. If you evaluate a property based purely on the massive numbers printed on a glossy marketing brochure, you will end up paying a heavy premium for a physically much smaller home. This waterfall chart shows exactly how a marketed 1,200 square foot apartment shrinks before your eyes. Right off the top, a large chunk is sliced away to account for the shared common amenities outside your front door. Then, structural necessities like the thick external perimeter walls and internal service shafts cut into the number even further, leaving you with a surprisingly small usable reality. This disappearing act was so common that the Indian government intervened in 2016 by passing the Real Estate Regulation and Development Act, or RERA. Builders can no longer use vague marketing math. RERA enforces a strict, legally binding definition of exactly what constitutes usable private space inside an apartment. By establishing this standardized baseline, the law gives you the power to strip away the marketing hype and calculate exactly what you are paying for. Your primary metric for evaluating any property is the RERA carpet area. This top-down 2 BHK floor plan highlights the true boundaries. It is strictly the area contained within the outer perimeter. This includes your living rooms and bedrooms, and under RERA rules, it now officially includes the internal partition walls and built-in cupboard spaces. What it strictly excludes are the structural boundaries. The thick exterior walls and shared utility shafts sit completely outside the defined carpet zone. And here is a crucial post-RERA change. Balconies and sit-out areas are no longer counted. The same rule applies to open terraces and verandas. They are entirely excluded from this specific number. The carpet area gives you the exact wall-to-wall footprint where your family will actually live, pricing private indoor space entirely separate from your outdoor perks. The next tier up is the built-up area. This is the total physical footprint the builder had to construct specifically for your unit. Looking again at the floor plan, the boundary now pushes outward. It adds those thick external walls and internal service shafts directly back into your square footage. Absorbing these structural elements inflates your overall area by roughly 10%. This measurement still only applies to your individual flat. It doesn't factor in your neighbors or the complex as a whole. The built-up area accounts for the physical bricks and mortar required to build your home, which means you are paying for structural dead space that offers absolutely zero living utility. To understand the final massive numbers on the billboards, we have to look at the entire housing complex, like the one in this aerial shot. This brings us to the super built-up area. This number takes your individual built-up area and adds a proportionate share of the building's common spaces. The law dictates that only covered amenities can be included in this calculation. That means shared lobbies, tall indoor staircases, clubhouses, and covered swimming pools. However, as this photo shows, open-to-sky spaces like large green parks, gardens, and rooftop terraces cannot legally be added to your square footage. The extra percentage added to your flat to cover those shared amenities is called the loading factor. In modern complexes, it typically ranges from 20 to 40%. A high loading factor dictates that a massive portion of your purchase price is funding community facilities rather than your private sanctuary. It forces you to choose between maximum personal space and extensive shared amenities. When you are comparing two different properties, never base your math on the super built-up area. It obscures the actual value. This scorecard calculates the true baseline. Divide total cost by the RERA carpet area. Property A's sub 20% loading factor maximizes private space, but sacrifices shared amenities. Conversely, property B's higher loading factor shrinks private rooms but provides expansive clubhouses and massive indoor pools. Keep in mind that those extensive facilities also perpetually tie you to higher monthly maintenance fees for as long as you own the home. A smart purchase requires aligning the loading factor with your actual lifestyle. You decide exactly how much private square footage you are willing to trade for access to community perks. Before signing any checks, you need to verify the builder's claims. Always ask to see the official layout plan they submitted for approval. Take those numbers and cross-reference them directly on your official state RERA website to ensure they match exactly. Finally, when construction finishes and you take physical possession, bring a tape measure and manually check the room widths yourself. Since standard floor plans usually do not mark the square footage of internal walls, you can add a 5 to 10% margin to your physical measurements to account for them. It demands active due diligence and a few uncomfortable conversations with developers, but relying strictly on the RERA carpet area guarantees your money buys the exact